Stay tuned and let's check out this Marvel Legends Void Build-A-Figure Wave, Crystar. Pow and welcome back to the channel, Dan Who Reviews. As always, my name is Dan W. Make sure you are following me on Instagram at It's Dan Who. And remember now you can hit that join button and become a channel member as well. Either show some love or join the members club. Much appreciated. Today we continue looking at the Marvel Legends, The Void Build-A-Figure Wave. As in front of me today we have Marvel's Crystar, and this one will absolutely divide the community. One half excited at the return of Crystar in action figure form to add to their modern day collection, and the other half asking, who the hell is this guy? And that's absolutely fine. Don't let anyone make you feel bad about that, because you have to be of a certain age to remember Crystar. I'd be lying if I said I was super familiar with the character. As I'm a fan of retro toys, I was sort of familiar with the Remco toy line, but I wasn't familiar with his connection to Marvel. And that's part of the fun of collecting for me. I genuinely enjoy discovering and learning new things via the medium of action figures. And that's exactly what I've been able to do with Crystar. So hopefully I can regurgitate some of that back to you in today's video. But the reality is he is here and you absolutely need him if you're trying to build the Void Build-A-Figure, as he comes with 2 tentacles. He himself comes with a sword, shield, some interchangeable hands, and that sweet translucent plastic, which I'm sure is nostalgic for a few. So there he is in the box, a picture of Crystar on the side and on the back of the packaging. You get a write-up that reads, Crystar, Prince of Crystolium, leads an elite team of crystal warriors against a threat of chaos. And then, as always, you get a list of all the figures in this wave you need to build the Void Build-A-Figure. Today we're reviewing Crystar. Who thought we'd be saying that nearly in 2024? Here we are. Let's get him open. Here we have Crystar out of the packaging with all of his accessories on the table, including these 2 crab tentacle legs for the Void Build-A-Figure. So you know what to do. Subscribe to the channel and come back, as once we've reviewed all the figures in this wave, we will of course build and review the Void Build-A-Figure, which is looking more gnarly with every piece we get. But today we are focusing on Crystar, who honestly, first impressions, looks pretty good. Hopefully my white background and lights isn't washing him out too much as this blue tinted translucent plastic shimmers. He is completely pinless, by the way, and also, just to get it out of the way, the helmet is not removable, unlike the original toy, which may be a bugbear for those nostalgic folk. But yeah, I reckon he looks pretty good. So let's get the tape measure out. He stands standard Marvel Legends size, probably about 6 3/4 actually. That helmet makes him a little bit taller, but he is absolutely canon to the sort of expanded Marvel world from an alternative reality, different dimension, that type of thing. And he has appeared more recently than you would think as well, but he was gone for a while as well. So before I give you a little breakdown on the character Crystar, let's first have a word from our friends at Legendsverse. Let me introduce you to Legendsverse.com, a place all Marvel Legends collectors are going to want to know about. If you are looking for an easy way to keep track of your collection, what figures you have, and create wish lists, then Legendsverse can do all of this and so much more. It's a comprehensive Marvel Legends database that, once you have added your collection, gives you stats like how many figures you own, how many waves and Build-A-Figures you have completed, and how much your collection is worth right now. Organize your collection in teams, upload photos of each figure, look at price guides, and share your collection with friends by showcasing your own profile. Go and sign up and see for yourself. Legendsverse.com. If you're trying to organize your collection and see its current value, honestly, check out Legendsverse. It will do that in the description below. Back to Crystar. So let's take a closer look before we talk about the history. And as you can see, the helmet will not come off. It is stuck, it is glued onto the head, so that helmet is not removable. You can see a little bit of white paint for his eyes, and then other than that, you just get the red highlights on the helmet, and it is a completely translucent, blue tinted plastic. Now, you can't really have an action figure with as much articulation as a Marvel Legend without seeing some of the mechanics in there. So you do get some darker spots of blue where there is more joints and whatnot for the articulation. But otherwise, I do think they've done a pretty solid job. Like, you can see my hand behind him. So he's translucent to a certain degree, but it does have that blue tint to it, and it has some dark spots for the articulation. But overall, I genuinely think they've done a solid job. This is a completely brand new figure, no reuse. He is completely pinless with the double jointed elbows, double jointed knees, and then the red boots, gloves, and trunks, of course. He's got a bit of a diamond on the front of the trunks. But yeah, I think they've executed this really well, and it's like an honest tribute to the original figure, and he will fit beautifully in with your Marvel Legends. Remember, it's from Weird World, so he will fit in there somewhere. But yeah, let's check out the articulation. Shoulders will go up. There is a bicep swivel. Double jointed elbow, but the gloves are quite thick, so it will limit that. I should mention the head is on a disc and hinge, so he can bury the chin really well and look up pretty good as well, to be honest. So not bad there at all. He's got a crunch at the waist, so he can lean back, no problem at all, no hindrance. Not a lot, but he will lean back. Leaning forward, he will get in the way of that little crystal on the sort of waist there, but it will flex out of the way. Like, you see it there? It flexes out of the way, but a little bit of a hinge forward and back, but nothing crazy. Now, because he's wearing trunks and there's a lot of clearance here near the crotch, you can actually kick forward quite a lot. And also, if I move the hands out the way, he can do the splits better than some Marvel Legends Spider-Man figures. So can't be mad at the range there on the legs. There's a thigh cut. No boots cut or anything like that. He does have ankle pivot and rocker, and then a decent leg double jointed knee, but again limited because of the thickness of the boots. And you can see the boots are not attached to the knee joint, so it does give you a decent range. So again, standard Marvel Legends articulation, and for a translucent figure, I do think they've done a pretty solid job. The texture itself is quite rigidy and rocky in style. Again, very similar to like Iceman would be, but he's crystal, not ice. He's got like an emblem on the chest there, which has got a unique sculpt, and you can feel that to touch as well with some sort of ridges around it. But yeah, really rocky sort of texture. Definitely gives the impression of it being translucent with the little blue tint. Overall, I genuinely think they've done a solid job of representing this character in plastic. It's just going to be a case of, do you like Crystar and do you like translucent action figures? It's as simple as that. But if the answer is yes, you think you're going to like this. Here's a look at the waist swivel as it goes underneath that diamond. So that diamond will move around with the upper portion of the torso. He has one open palm hand and one fisted hand out of the packaging. It would have been nice to have a set of both, especially fisted hands. I think they should come as standard with all Marvel Legends, but yeah, you only get one of each of them. We also get a set of 2 gripping hands, and that is perfect as he comes with 2 accessories to hold. He comes with a sword and shield, just like the original toy did back in the 80s. So I think this is going to be the sweet spot for nostalgia for many people. And they've done a great job with the shield as well. Like, that's more translucent than the actual figure is, because it's like a lighter blue. So you can absolutely see my hand behind that. That shield is very nicely done. And again, it's got some texture, some sculpted texture all the way around with like these arrows pointing outward. But you can see him gripping the handle there, no problem at all with his gripping hand. Even the handle has a bit of texture onto it, but he grips it no problem at all. And yeah, I'm not sure if it gives him too much protection, or maybe it does. It's just because it's translucent doesn't mean it doesn't work. So yeah, crystal shield, not a bad shout. And then he has his crystal sword. Now I don't know if these have any special names. They probably do in fantasy lore, but it's got a nice unique sculpt to it. And then, as you can see there, and then it's just that translucent-y, plasticky blue all the way through. Same sort of ribbed handle for her pleasure, if it will focus for me on the handle as well as it does on the shield. This is an adult channel, I'm allowed to say that. So yeah, I reckon he looks pretty good. Okay, so if you're still watching, then maybe you care enough to know a little bit more about Crystar. So let me share with you what I have learned. But again, I do not claim to be an expert, but I would like to share with you in my own little unique way. Crystar was a toy line of action figures produced by Remco in 1982. Now, these figures were based off comic book concept art that would eventually get turned into comics by Marvel the following year. 11 issues is an old school fantasy story of good versus evil, order versus chaos, with 2 princes battling against each other, and because of wizards, one is made of crystal and the other is made of lava. Unfortunately, neither the comics or the toys were very successful, as during this time in the 80s, you really needed an animated series to get behind the brand, which Crystar unfortunately didn't have. So Crystar fizzled away and wasn't to be seen for many years. But Marvel did have him appear as recently as 2015 Secret Wars, as he was a part of this place called Weird World. So Crystar could still be out there somewhere. Now, although his comic was based in an alternative, different dimension than the regular 616 continuity, it was done by Marvel, and they always found a way to have a cameo or two. So some familiar faces did turn up, as in issue 3, we had Doctor Strange make an appearance in Crystar's story. And then also, in issue 6, we had a familiar X-Men show up that had a very nice front cover as well, in this exact Marvel Legends outfit. So pairing these two together would also make sense. I think other characters like Alpha Flight also made a cameo. And when Crystar made an appearance later in that sort of strange world, that weird world, Secret Wars sort of spin-off, he bumped into the Squadron Supreme, which might be connecting him to this Void Wave, as we also got Power Princess. Maybe. When thinking about other comparisons for Crystar, of course I had to bring in Iceman, who I've already mentioned in this video, as they are similar in execution, being bluish translucent plastic. We do have another Iceman that came on the retro card, but that's more of a pearlish white compared to the 616 and Age of Apocalypse version of Iceman here, who's always been a little bit darker in blue. Crystar sits in between the two, not as dark as Age of Apocalypse, but a little bit darker than your regular 616 version here. But in regards to like execution to the character, I do think Crystar is probably the better representation here. But remember, he's not ice, he's crystal. I was also trying to think of some female comparisons done in this sort of similar style, and I brought out the Singularity that came in that A-Force box set a while back. She's not completely translucent, but still got similar themes. And I was going to show you the Invisible Woman, but I genuinely couldn't find her anywhere. So I don't know where Sue's hiding, but yeah, just pretend that the Invisible Woman's there. But if you find that, let me know. A few random comparisons here, as we have the Renew Your Vows Spider-Man and then the Deluxe Thanos. Here we have the recent Black Widow and of course Black Panther. Here we have the 20th anniversary Captain America and the Mark 70 Iron Man. But like always, we have plenty of options with Cap and Iron Man. So let's bring in the ultimate version of Captain America and the Extremis Iron Man as well. And I mentioned earlier him sharing panels with the Squadron Supreme in Marvel Comics, but I don't think it was this iteration of the Squadron. I know that Hyperion was wearing his black outfit, but there might be a slight connection there. So here we have Power Princess. Make sure you go and check out that review on the channel right now. And of course, Hyperion. And then here we have Vision, who's also in this wave. Go and check out the review, and one of many Scarlet Witches. And I know Rich M's going to hate me for saying this, but Crystar has some Who Crew potential here. So let's wrap up with Frogman, Tigra and Jocasta, who is reading out comments from the previous Marvel Legend review. So make sure you leave a comment below and she may read it out on the next one. Who have you picked today?
Juan Sanchez 209 says, "It's ironic that the best 6-inch Wonder Woman figure ever made comes from a Marvel toy line, LOL.
And then last but not least, we have Captain Britain and Hal. Fire, Hank. So, final thoughts on this Marvel Legends The Void Build-A-Figure wave. Crystar. And like I said at the start of the video, this figure will divide the community. You are either excited at the return of Crystar via the medium of Marvel Legends, or you are waving your fist at the sky screaming, "Down with Hasbro." Either way, he is here in figure form, and I don't think it's a bad representation of the figure in plastic in the modern era. And at the end of the day, that's what they're trying to execute here. I think it's pretty good, and if you're still watching this video, then hopefully you have took away a little bit more knowledge of Crystar. But ultimately, he started off his life as an action figure in the Remco line before moving to comics, and then never quite made it to an animated series, which ultimately you needed during the 80s of that prime time He-Man, Transformers, G.I. Joe. You needed that animated show to get the kids on board, and yeah, Crystar fizzled away. But he is back now in POG form, Marvel Legend form, for you to enjoy in your collection. But if you like Marvel Legends, you are absolutely in the right place. So make sure you stick around, check out the videos tab, the playlist, but most importantly, please, 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 hit that subscribe button, hit all on the notification bell. Don't miss out on the video, and please hit that join button, become a channel member, either show some love or join the members club. Much appreciated. And once again, thank you to this video sponsor, which was Legends Verse. If you collect Legends, click the link, check them out in the description below. Follow me on Instagram at It's Dan Who. I'm on Twitter as well, Dan Who Reviews. Come and follow me on TikTok. I'm not hiding, and I will of course see you on the next one.